About all those college age people who are going back to school this week and last week, whenever your college of choice starts. Just want to say thank you, because you are now guinea pigs in a great big experiment to find out just how far COVID-19 has gotten through the general population of North Carolina. We're going to find out real quick. I guess the first question I've got is, what's going to happen when a student tests positive? Are they going to shut down that class? They're going to shut down that class and every other class that any of those students has been in, and they're going to quarantine everybody for 2 weeks, right? They proved just how powerful they are by going ahead and reopening schools. UNC basically told the Orange County Department of Public Health to just go away after they had gotten a letter from the Department of Health in Orange County to please do online classes only. And they said, nope, we're going to do what we want to do because we're UNC and we've got plenty of money, and we're just going to do it. Oh, and by the way, we've decided that 3 feet is enough separation. Oh, and by the way, we're not taking any responsibility at all for your child if he gets sick. So this is going to be an experiment. We're going to find out if we have a big outbreak on college campuses, then we'll know we got a long road to hope. If it doesn't happen, then that is good news. But that's not really the right way to go about finding out, is it? I mean, hey, this is Chris. Good morning. Keeping it real, facts over fear. I want to talk a little bit about everybody going home from college. Somebody, I can't remember exactly who it was, did a video on this about 2 weeks ago on August 8th, talking about how the students this fall at all the major universities and, well, any college at all, were going to be guinea pigs in the face of this COVID-19 pandemic. And, oh yeah, that was me. Unfortunately, I was right. Well, I don't know what I was right about because I have to watch the video again to find out exactly what I said. I remember the tenor of it though, and it really is about money. It was about getting the students into school. It's about getting all that money taken in. It's about making sure the budgets were okay, and all of a sudden reality strikes. And you find out that things just aren't going to work out the way you thought they were going to work. And this is the position that university administrators, at least at UNC and North Carolina State, face today. A little bit more caution on the front end would have gone a long way. You remember the Orange County Health Department requested that UNC not do in-person classes for 5 weeks, and UNC told them pack sand, pound sand, whatever you do with sand. And so here we are. The basic problem with it all, and I can't, it was so easy to see what was going to happen. Now my thought was that maybe the virus has gotten far enough through the general population that we would not see a big outbreak. But unfortunately, that assumption on my part was wrong. We have gotten a long way through this pandemic, but we're not close to coming out in the next few weeks anyway. And we certainly weren't ready. We certainly weren't coming out of it at the end of July, when all these decisions were being finalized at these universities. And so, I was trying to think of an analogy to this, to what happened. Why are we seeing all these cases at the universities? And I think it's really just when you think about how a pandemic spreads. My goodness, everybody's going so slow. It kind of goes, what I've noticed is it kind of goes in fits and starts. We'll have an area get infected, and then the virus will kind of race through that area, and then it will just kind of stop for a while. And that's where we were until about the beginning of last week in regards to North Carolina. I mean, the numbers were all coming down. It looked like things were really stabilized. Hospitalizations are still coming down, but all the indicators were heading in the right direction, and all of a sudden you bring in 300,000 people and you move them all around the state, and this is what's going on. That you are, when you do that, and this is how a pandemic works, when you increase the number of people, new contacts that people have, the virus just spreads faster. And that's just the way it is. It's like every spring I go out. Well, most springs, didn't do it last year, I did it year before last. You go out, you got some brush in the back, you don't feel like spraying 20 gallons of Roundup to kill it all. You just wait for it to die over the winter, and then in the spring you go out and you light a match to it. And you throw your match into the dead leaves and the dry grass, and it starts a fire. And at first, you usually pick a place where the fire burns the best, right? But then, the fire will reach a place where there aren't that many leaves and there isn't too much dry grass, and it'll kind of slow down. And then maybe sometimes it goes out there, but usually it just kind of creeps along, and you can't really tell even anything's on fire. And then all of a sudden, the next big clump of something catches fire, and then that burns and that goes out, and then it slowly burns until it reaches another clump, And that's kind of how this virus works. As long as everyone was not moving around too much, and that's really was the point of this whole lockdown thing, was to keep people from moving around a whole lot. Once you start moving, and this is just the students, there's 300,000 students enrolled in colleges in North Carolina. So you count all them, you count the parents who brought them, you count the staff at all the schools, you count this, you count that. I mean, they're not just coming from North Carolina, they're coming from all over the state, they're coming from all over the world, and you're remixing everything, and you are creating a condition where the virus can spread again. Because even if a third of the people or a quarter of the people in the world have been exposed to it, that leaves 3/4 left, and that's a pretty big patch of dry grass. You know what I'm saying? I hope that analogy is working for you, because it took me a while to come up with that. And so that is in fact what has happened. Now, we don't know how many cases there are, because we're more concerned about people's privacy than we are about public health, which is a whole nother video. But having said that, this is what's going to happen. And so now all of these, I'm not going to call them kids, they're adults. All of these young adults who have come and exposed themselves are now going to go back home, because a lot of them are moving out of the dorms. They're saying, well, there's really no point in being on campus if I'm not going to go to class. I mean, it's kind of stupid to spend all that money on a room, right? And not go to class. I mean, I can do that at home. And so I don't know how many people are moving back home, but they're just going to spread. This is going to reignite things all over the country. And so, is it good or bad? Is this thing, well, it doesn't matter if it's good or it's bad. It's going to happen, and it's already happening. And so, in terms of us getting out of this pandemic, it's a good thing. In terms of people needlessly being exposed to a virus, which I've got a graph for you this morning too, not in this video, that's going to show that viruses just do what viruses do. And so I've just contradicted myself, I understand, but I can't help it. this is a complex subject, I think, as everyone understands by now. And so, but that's what's going to happen. All these people are going to go home. They're going to carry a fresh copy of the virus with them, and I think we will see nationwide. I think we will see some slight. Now, I don't know how big is that pile of dry leaves. How big is that sprout of dry grass? How much more fire is there left? How much more consumable material is there left? Not how much more fire. Until we really do start to see actual reductions, because so many people have had it. And so every time you think you got this virus figured out, it does something weird on you, unexpected to you. But on the other hand, if people, the incredible inconsistency of how we treat different groups of people in this country, and I'm talking about keeping bars closed, but bringing college back into class, or it's just like you be consistent. You shouldn't. The schools never should have been opened. If you're not going to open a bar that has a lot of people in close proximity to one another, but you're going to open a college or university which has a lot of people in close proximity to one another, and you somehow think those are different, well, that's our political leadership for you. And before I go much further down that path, I will say this. If you have any questions or comments, leave them in the section below. Like and subscribe. We appreciate when you do. And we'll see you on the next fact-filled video.